Okay, the recording has started. So, hi everyone. Welcome to today's workshop, Motivation and Persistence, How to Stay Motivated When It Gets Tough. So, hi, my name is Kirsten. I will be facilitating today's workshop. Before we get started, a little bit about me. I am a graduate assistant at SARC in the peer tutoring section, and I am getting my master's degree in clinical psychology. So, we'll just get right into it. So, motivation starts at mindset. So, there's two different types of mindset. There is fixed mindset and growth mindset. So, fixed mindset examples would be thinking things like, I'm not good enough. I give up. I'll never be that smart. I can't do this. I make mistakes. This is too hard. Things like that. And then there's a growth mindset where you think thoughts like, what am I missing? I'll use a different strategy. I can always improve. And you learn from criticism and you feel the lessons and inspiration that you take from others. So, fixed mindset, like in the title, is fixed. It's not, you're living in that moment and you're not trying to grow, like the growth mindset. So, which mindset sets us up for success? Type it in the chat. What do we all think? Growth. Exactly. Oh, thank you all for participating. That was awesome. So exactly, growth mindset sets us up for success. We need to be moving forward. We need to be thinking, what am I missing? You can always improve and you can always grow, like it says in the title. So how can we develop a growth mindset? So first thing, we can acknowledge and embrace our imperfections. In order to grow, we need to understand where we're growing from. So if you acknowledge your imperfections and you embrace them, you can allow yourself to grow. Second, view challenges as opportunities. Having a fixed mindset is a lot easier than having a growth mindset. But if you view challenges as opportunities as opposed to things that are just hard that you don't want to do, that's how you can grow. Take it as an opportunity to grow and learn. So don't view challenges as something that, you dread, but as something that you can look forward to in order to advance. Third, cultivate a sense of purpose. So if you have a sense of purpose, you can grow towards something. You grow towards a goal. So without a sense of purpose, it might be harder to have that growth mindset because you don't know what you're growing towards. Fourth, make a new goal for every goal you've accomplished. You accomplish a goal, great, awesome. You set a new one so that we're always growing and that we're always moving forward, that we're never just stuck in one place. Fifth, think realistically about time and effort. So, in order for us to grow, we need to have realistic goals, which we'll get into a little bit later, but think realistically about time and effort. So, you know, it's not realistic to say, oh, I want to learn how to code in this language by tomorrow. So, be realistic, and that's how you can actually grow. And then finally, take ownership of your attitude. You control your own attitude. That is something that you can do yourself. So if you own your own attitude, that's how you can allow yourself to grow. Okay, what motivates you guys? So type in the chat, um, what keeps you going? What motivates you? I know for me, um, I'll give two examples. I'll give one silly one and one professional one. So I am very motivated by sweet treats. I love an iced coffee. So sometimes I'll be like, if I do this assignment, then I can go and get myself something. Um, the more realistic one, especially with like my homework and stuff, I'm a clinical psychology major. I've wanted to be a therapist my whole life. So what motivates me is getting to that goal of doing what I want to do eventually. Let's see what we keeping a reward for every time I complete something. Exactly. I relate, like I just said, my sweet treats. I think a reward system is a great way to motivate yourself. My family and getting good grades. Exactly. Having your family be a motivator is really great. Also, people, that can cheer you on from a distance. Getting good grades, that's also a really good motivator. I relate to that as well. My career goals keep me motivated. Exactly. Having your end goal in mind is a really good way to keep yourself motivated so that you keep going. You're doing a homework assignment, you just got to think of the end goal. Reward system doesn't always have to be treats, but can also be a tracker of how much time you spend studying weekly. True, completely. Yeah, reward system can look different for everyone. Following my dreams in the hospitality industry. Awesome. Exactly. Keeping your end goals in mind is a really awesome way to keep yourself motivated, to stay present in the moment and know that you're working towards something. And Ria, I really like how you said the reward system doesn't have to always have to be treats. I do agree with that. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. That was really great participation. Okay, so some tips to increase motivation. So review your motivations and passions. So you can't really be motivated unless you know what you're being motivated for. So taking some time to just reflect and review your motivation and passions and what you really want to do in life. Reward system, like we just said, it can reward systems come in all different shapes and sizes. It's truly whatever you feel works for you and gets you motivated to do the things that you want to do. Complete the decision-making pros and cons. Think, what will I gain or lose if I don't do this task? So, a homework assignment, you really don't want to do it. You're not super motivated to do it. Completing the decision-making pros and cons. So, what will I gain? So, my grade will go up. Um, I will learn the content. And by learning the content, maybe I'll do better on the next exam. What will I lose? Maybe your grade will go down depending on where your grade is at, maybe your grade will dip below a certain point. You might have to retake the class. So weighing the pros and cons. Vision boards. For more creative types, vision boards won't work for everyone, but I know a lot of people like making a vision board and printing it out, maybe making it your phone background, your laptop background, having it on your wall. Yeah, having a vision board that can really keep yourself motivated, having a visual of what you can see and what you want to work towards can really increase motivation. Capitalize on bursts of motivation. So every now and again, you suddenly feel super motivated to do everything. You got to capitalize on that. I know sometimes you have these bursts of motivation, but you don't really have anything to maybe work on, or you don't think, you don't do anything with it. So capitalize on those moments and really get yourself going and using those moments to accomplish short-term goals. And lastly, schedule management, setting aside scheduled time to work on assignments. So let's say you have a really busy weekend coming up, knowing that, maybe your Tuesday is open, being like, Tuesday, I'm going to do assignment 1 and 2 for this class. So setting aside time can also help you increase your motivation to get your work done. We have something in the chat. What exactly is a vision board? Perfect. So a vision board can come in different shapes and sizes. It also depends on the person, but like a classic vision board might be sort of like a photo collage, being images or maybe quotes or things that you can look at visually to help increase motivation and help to inspire you. So for me, maybe on my vision board, I can have like professional goals, like things to deal with therapy and things dealing with mental health. But also I am motivated by my sweet treats, like I mentioned. So maybe on my vision board, I can have like a little iced coffee. So things that like keep me motivated that you can look at. Does that make sense? Yes, perfect. No problem. Yeah, keep questions rolling in if you have anything that comes up. I'll be monitoring the chat as well. Procrastination. We all do it, y'all. When we lack motivation, we often put off our assignments until the very last minute. We all do it. I'm in grad school. I still find myself doing it. So what do you all do to overcome procrastination? Type it in the chat. For me, I move my phone across the room. So if that's what it takes, I put it in a different room, I move it away, so I'm not tempted. So what do you all do? Remove distractions? Exactly. Me too. Set a focus timer. Okay, that's a really good idea. Anyone else? Use the Forest app. Can you explain what that is? I don't think I've heard of that. That might help everyone. You grow a tree every time you complete a focus session. Oh, that's really adorable. And you create a forest. Wait, I like that a lot. Okay. The forest app. That's really good. Okay, anyone else on what you do to overcome procrastination before we move on? That might be all. So yeah, great examples, guys. Oh, phone ditching app. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we're gonna do a little activity. So imagine a friend, younger sibling, or a high school student coming to you for advice on how to get their homework done. What is your best advice for them? So I know this is something that we all struggle with as college students, so this is sort of advice for yourself, but think of it as you're giving the advice to someone else. So I'm going to give us all 2 minutes to think of our answers, um, so we can really give an in-depth piece of advice. So I'm going to give us 2 minutes to come up with a piece of advice. So I'm going to turn my mic and my camera off, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we're back. My video. So, oops. Yeah, so what advice do you all have? You can type it in the chat, you can turn on your microphone, whatever you feel comfortable. Let me go ahead and start reading these. So some advice we have, use a focus timer. Spend at least 2 hours on a subject or difficult subject every day. Set mini goals for completing assignments, such as finishing 50 lines of code for a coding assignment or finishing 10 problems for a math homework. Use a vision board. Keep a sticky note somewhere you see frequently to remind yourself of your goals in life. I love all of those. I am a sticky note warrior, I will say. I love putting sticky notes on my mirrors and around my room. Try to eliminate distractions and using a reward system. Also find a driver such as good grades, maybe impressing a teacher, maybe it's getting the grade that you were working towards. Try to find something that is going to drive you and make you work harder towards your goal. Awesome. I love that answer. I would tell that friend just putting your head down and getting the work done means that you'll have more time to do whatever you want for the rest of the week. Yeah, that is a great motivator, honestly. Just knowing that if you do it now, you don't have to do it later. Get a friend or family member to keep a check on your progress. Awesome. I totally agree with that. My friends, sometimes when we study together, every now and again, will be like, so what are you working on? Um, as just like a checkup to see like if they are working or what or how much they've accomplished. So yeah, guys, this is really, really awesome advice. Great job. Okay, self-control strategies and overcoming procrastination. So, you got four tips here. So, first one is situation selecting, choosing where you are. So, what environment works best for you? Some people cannot work at home, so they need to leave, maybe like the library or a coffee shop, some classic examples. Some people do their best work from their own bed. So, it depends what environment works best for you. So, choosing your situation. The next one, situation modification, changing where you are. So, how to modify that environment. So, let's say okay, you do step one, you choose you're going to stay home and you're going to do your work. But how can you modify that environment to help yourself with self-control and overcome procrastination? So that could be turning your phone off, setting a focus timer, like we mentioned earlier, or just moving your phone into a different room, putting it across the room, stuff like that. So modifying your situation. You can also do this in a like let's say the library. Let's say you're on a floor where a lot of people are talking. Situation modification, putting on headphones so that you can't hear the distractions. Third one, selective attention. So focusing on something that will help you delay gratification. So for example, facing your chair and your body to your work and away from your distractions. So that kind of relates to maybe like the moving your phone away. Just link in the chat. Use a website called toggle.com. It's really good for tracking how many hours you've done weekly, and it's free. Great advice. Thank you so much. You're being very helpful. So yeah, toggle.com, TOGGL.com for everyone, and it's free. Amazing. Thank you so much. So, our last one, cognitive reappraisal. So, looking at your situation a different way. So, an example of this would be better math grade contributes to a better GPA, which contributes to graduation, which contributes to having a career, which contributes to having adult money. So, it sometimes you just need to reframe your mindset. So, cognitive reappraisal, looking at your situation a different way, if that's what it takes to get you to for self-control and overcoming procrastination. Persistence. So motivation and persistence often go hand in hand. You have the motivation, you have to be persistent to achieve your goals. You have to stick with it. You have to persist. So grit. Grit is a passion and perseverance for long-term goals. That is a really good quote for grit. Having high levels of grit will help you stick to your goals and be persistent in the process. And growth mindset also improves grit. So setting yourself up for success. So in order to achieve your goals, we have to set them using best practices to maintain motivation and persistence. And a really good way to do this is SMART goals. So SMART goals, we'll go through each letter. So SMART goals is an acronym. So the S stands for specific. So defining the goal with no ambiguous language. So let's use an example here. Let's say our goal is learn how to code in Python. I don't know why I'm picking that example as a psychology major, but let's say it is. So define the goal. I want to learn how to code in this. Um, so whatever that means, there might be more specific aspects, but for the sake of generalizing this for everyone, define the goal, no ambiguous language. Measurable, create a goal that can be tracked and measured. So maybe having certain checkpoints. That means it's measurable. So like by this point, I'm going to be being able to do this, and by this point, I'm going to be able to do this. So having your goal be measurable is really important as well. A stands for attainable. So the goal should be reasonable to achieve with your resources. So sometimes we have goals that are not attainable at the moment. So let's say maybe someone wants their goal to be they want to go to space this year. That's not attainable. That's not reasonable with the resources that we more than likely have. Relevant, making a goal that is both worthwhile and fits your needs. So it is okay to have goals and things that you want to do that aren't necessarily relevant to, let's say, your academic or professional endeavors, but having goals that are relevant to a few aspects of your life. So it's worthwhile to accomplish this goal. And finally, time sensitive. So the objective should include a time limit for completion. So if a goal is just like finish it whenever, that's not great. So you're not going to have the motivation to actually complete it. So let's say time sensitive, 6 months, you want to complete your goal. So having a deadline. What exactly is relevant again? Yeah, I'll go over it again for sure. So having a goal that is worthwhile and fits your needs. So it's relevant to you, essentially. Um, so let's say me, I'm a psychology major. Let's say my goal is, to learn how to code. That might not be super relevant for me, and I should maybe reel in my goals until I can reach my professional goals. So kind of like, making like prioritizing your goals. Does that make sense? Relevance? Great. So I actually do have a fillable worksheet for you guys. Let me attach it. Okay, so I just sent a PDF in the chat of a fillable SMART goals worksheet, so you all can save that and use that yourself for the different goals that you have. So I would highly recommend downloading it. You don't necessarily have to fill it out, but just looking at it and using that for your goals as like a basis. Okay. Practice behaviors that will set you up for success that will increase your motivation and persistence. So attend class regularly and arrive on time. I have had many conversations with students where, they're like, oh, I'm really stressed out. I don't understand what's going on. And I'm like, oh no, like, how is it going in class? Like, do you understand what's going on in class? And they're like, well, I don't know. I got too stressed out and I didn't go. We need to be attending class regularly and arriving on time. It is really hard to stay motivated if you don't know what's going on. So in order to keep up your motivation, you need to attend class regularly and arrive on time. Making up missed work. Um, it is important to make up missed work, even if you might not get a grade for missed work. For staying in the class and doing well on the exams, you're going to need to make up missed work. So that can also help increase motivation. Inform your instructor ahead of time when you will be absent. So that will help set yourself up for success. Let's say that class takes attendance, letting your professor know ahead of time if you have a different obligation. Make connections with other students and form study groups. This is 100% my biggest piece of advice for undergrads whenever people ask me. My biggest piece of advice has always been having one buddy in every single class. Now, when I say one buddy, I don't necessarily mean one of your actual friends. If it is, that's amazing. That is ideal. But finding one person in each of your classes, at least, that, you have their phone number, or you can chat on GroupMe or through the class Discord, having one person that you can text, be like, I don't really understand the homework, or hey, do you want to study before the exam? Having one person to be like your buddy in every class. I've always found that has been super helpful for me. And they don't have to be your friend outside of class necessarily. That's awesome if you want to make new friends, but having one person every class. Seek help from student support services, like the Student Academic Resource Center, where you are right now. Um, Having a fixed schedule for studying, like we went over earlier, maybe having fixed times in your week, like Mondays and Wednesdays, I will study, and planning ahead. Something in the chat. What are the student support services here at SARC other than SARC? Yeah, so there's a few. There's UCF Cares. Well, it really depends what you need, to be honest, but we will go over a few actually in a minute. There's CAPS. Well, actually, we'll hold on, and then sure, okay. I believe we have that in an upcoming slide. So yeah, I'm planning ahead. So developing your own style. So the ideas expressed in this presentation are just a starting point. Everyone's experiences, learning styles, and schedules are unique to their own experiences. So what may work well for some people might not work well for others. So college is a time to find what your own style is. It's a time to be flexible and creative and reflecting on your own experiences, experimenting, and trying new things to identify what strategies work best for you specifically, and identifying your motivations for doing well. Using the resources and opportunities you have as a student to develop your own style and approach to studying and time management. So yeah, what we go over in this presentation is just a starting point, something to build off of for you all to find your own style. Struggling to stick with it, develop a UCF support team. And this is where I have some of the other resources listed. So having your professors as a support, your professors are there to help you. Maybe your academic advisor, booking an appointment, the Office of Student Financial Assistance, career services, the Counseling Center, CAPS, SARC, UCF Cares, UCF website, and also what most people have as their biggest support team, your friends, your roommates, your study buddy, your family, having people in your life that you can count on always. In the chat. In the description. Okay, so sorry about that. I believe we have physics help room for physics. Great. Okay, so sorry, I need to pull up the QR code for just 1 minute for someone who needs to head out a little bit early. So thank you all. Sorry, that was a bit abrupt. But yeah, thank you all for coming to this session. Please scan a QR code to fill out an evaluation for how you felt about this session. And yeah, please put in the chat if you have any questions about resources or anything like that. I know I moved past that slide a bit quickly, or anything else that you might have. But yeah, thank you. Please fill out the QR code. Yes, in the chat. Thank you. Add the link. Oh, if you missed the procrastination workshop, it will be posted on YouTube just like this one will. So keep an eye out for that. And yes, hold on. Someone asked for my email. I'm typing it in the chat as I speak. Okay, then someone asked for the link to the QR code. So give me 1 moment. I'm going to need to stop sharing the screen. Okay. So you need to find the link in my email. Okay, if you weren't able to scan the QR code, please send me an email to the email I sent in the chat because I cannot seem to find the link. So here's the QR code once again. Oh, perfect. Okay, so the link to the QR code is in the chat. Thank you so much, Ria. You've been so helpful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, but if you have any other questions, I will still be here.